Ah, it's that time of year again. The days are getting shorter, the nights are getting colder, there's Christmas music in the stores, and Halloween candy is on clearance. I'm talking, of course, about NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is like running a 10K, but it lasts the entire month of November, and instead of running, you'll be typing words onto a computer, or writing words onto a page, or speaking words into Siri. Hello, Siri. I don't know, I don't have an iPhone, so it's like a 10K that lasts from November 1st to November 30th, where you can marathon, pause for laughter, and crank out as many words as you can of a story, the goal of which being 50,000 words. So it's more like a 50K. Now, a few writers on the internet, most notably John Green, have stated that it is nearly impossible to write a good novel in a month. It just can't happen. Even more so, 50,000 words is the minimum word count for a publisher to even consider publishing your work. Most novels have to be between 60,000 to 100,000 words for them to publish you, and that's like 2 NaNoWriMos. Or you could just keep typing your novel into December. You don't have to just type in November. But NaNoWriMo is not a way for all of us to just write award-winning novellas, he said, hoping he was using that word correctly. Instead, it's an exercise in determination, motivation, creativity, time management, being able to push yourself. That's what NaNoWriMo's about. The idea is to get as much down as you possibly can during the month of November, and then later see what sticks, what doesn't, what needs changed, what needs edited. No editing should happen during the month of November at all. No editing in November at all. But Travis, you might be saying to yourself, it's November 5th, or November 6th, or 10th, depending on when you're watching this. Why are you posting this video now? Why didn't you post it on November 1st? Or gasp, mid-October? Well, to be honest, I got a little bit of a late start on NaNoWriMo this year, but fear not, for simple math will help us get back on track. If you start NaNoWriMo on day 1, it is widely understood that if you type 1,667 words per day, every day, you will break 50,000 words by the end of the month. So using that same methodology, if you are seeing this video on November 5th, for example, and you want to start NaNoWriMo today, that means you only have to type 2,000 words per day, every day, until the end of the month. It's a few hundred more than the 1,667, but it's completely doable. If you're watching this on a different day, just figure out how many more days in November you have, divide 50,000 by that number, and that's how many words you need to write per day to catch up. Bam! Math tutor. If you're watching this on November 29th, I'm sorry. I have a friend, Mitch, who a few years ago, on day 1 of NaNoWriMo, wrote 20,000 words. 20,000 words in 24 hours. That's almost half of the words he needed to write for the entire month. You would think that it would give him a leg up on the entire month and he would just coast through just having to write a couple hundred words for the rest of the month per day. But no. He burnt himself out in the first 24 hours. He didn't even finish that year. This year, my late start was due to the fact that I was trying to think of interesting names for certain things in my story instead of just typing, which brings me to another important piece of advice. Just keep writing. Don't worry about details right now. Just keep putting words down. Who cares if it's any good? I don't mean to come off as harsh, but seriously, your idea might be really solid and interesting, but the words and story that you're putting down on the page right now might not be any good at all, and that's okay. It's to be expected, actually. Have you ever thrown clay on a potter's wheel? Well, if not, you take the clay, you put it down on the potter's wheel. You get your hands wet, and you mold, and you cone, and you flatten, and you smooth, and you raise, and if you haven't figured out now, that is a metaphor for you editing your story after November. The metaphor for typing in November is taking the clay and throwing it on the potter's wheel. It's not a perfect metaphor, but you get what I'm saying. I'll put a link down below if you want to be nano buddies, or if you want to bug me on Twitter about my word count. I have this really bad problem of spending my entire day doing day things and then realizing at 2 in the morning that I haven't typed, and I will type and then I will fall asleep. That's been a thing that's been happening for the past few days. So maybe I should wake up and type? That's a novel idea. Ha! That was an unintentional pun. It was pun intentional. That was really bad. That was really bad. This is going off the rails right now. I'm not even talking about things I should be. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me soon.